where, like I've said all along, I think we've got really good players. I am still waiting for us to gel as a really good team. We've had so many spurts of, wow, this is what we can be, and then we'll have we'll go another series or another offensive or defensive series, and we'll have a letdown like somewhere like we hadn't seen something before. But that's what you're dealing with when you're dealing with 14, 15, 16, 17-year-old kids, and we own that, and we're just going to continue to try to get better with it.
Yeah. But then, I mean, just from a morale standpoint, you look around the school, it's been probably ages since y'all could say y'all were ranked top.
Yeah. We dig it and we appreciate it, but we know we got a load of stuff to get better and a load of work to do if we're going to continue in this region, continue in this state as far as being a top dog. And, we've won a bunch of games in a row, home games, regular season games. You take the Dutch Fork game away, we've won, all but that one, but any team that rests on their laurels, any coach that lets his team just rest on, what they've done so far is just not setting the right example for his ball team.
Yeah. Well, talking about one of those contributors, Drevin, I was looking at the numbers he's put up. Just how much is that exceeded, and then just how much do you sort of take pride in sort of getting him to a level where he's probably not been there before?
Right. Well, we just know that a couple of these guys hadn't played in any really big games, and our non-region schedule has provided us, on paper, what was supposed to be a big game every week. You start off with Oceanside, you go down there, you go to Burns back-to-back weeks, and Burns is good. Don't take anything away from Burns. They got 2 running backs and some receivers that can really get it done, and they're solid on defense. And then, Butler should have been a little bit better. We jumped on them pretty much early. That was the Jaden Bryant show. And then beating an undefeated Carolina Forest team here at the house, we felt good about it because it was here. But they got a good football team too, and we just kind of overwhelmed Myrtle Beach a little bit and went down there, and we had a little bit of a chip on our shoulder and because of the bus ride, and we jumped on them pretty good pretty early, but we were still a little lethargic, and it's in hindsight you start thinking about the long bus ride and us getting off. We don't like to get anywhere too early, but us getting off and having to play right away. In hindsight, I have to think about that, but I still wish, we would have played better, in the middle of the whole thing. The beginning result and the end result were fine, but we're not a look to the end type team. We want to play well during the battle too, in all phases, and we're just having so many letdowns in so many phases. But and I say that because I am being a little pessimistic, but the guys are doing well. They're showing up every day, and they're trying to get better each and every day, and we're trying not to make the same mistakes twice.
Well, looking back at your schedule, though, how much now does that week 1 win look sort of even bigger for you?
Well, it does, but like I told you before, I think those guys got a top 5 roster in the state, man, down at Oceanside. So it's no real surprise that they played well against Dutch Fork or played well with Dutch Fork. It is a bit of a surprise that they did come out with a victory, but no surprise whatsoever that those guys played their guts out, and Coach Pratt does a good job down there.
And then, but getting back to Drevin, just what AUC has just been the difference this year for him?
Well, his preparation, he prepares, and I like that about him. What's been different between he and the younger kid is, just Dre's preparation. He just comes in, he gets his lift in every day, he watches his film, and he tries not to be the one. He knows he's got big shoes to fill, but he doesn't want to be the one to let the team down. So I can appreciate what Dre's doing for our ball team. It's all new to him with the magnitude of the games that we're playing, but he seemed to be responding.
Well, you got a week or so before getting ready to focus back on region play again. Just going back in, how much though is this a time? Do you? I guess it's sort of a relief in terms of being able to regroup physically and just be back at full strength from the play election.
Well, I personally hate bye weeks because especially when you're when you're playing, when you've got a little winning streak like we do. You know, but as much as I hate it, and I'm going to hate to see teams actually getting to load up this Friday and get ready to play a ball game, I know that we need it. I know that we need some time to heal up. Like I said, we played 5 straight weeks, and we went a whole summer and spring, and so the guys, you know, may need a bit of a break, but you know, I just don't know how to take a break at practice yet, and that's just an art that I haven't figured out yet. I think when we're in practice, we just got to go as hard as we possibly can all the time, and I know that shouldn't be the case, but you know, it's worked for us.
Well, who's one kid, I guess, who sort of been under the radar, but he's really someone who's really been a contributor?
Well, you have to think about people like, everybody knows Miller's going to make plays and Amir White's going to make plays, and but I would have to say probably, you know, 2 receivers on the outside, Ethan Singletary and DeMarion Arrington. You know, they've really, you know, done their part. You know, they run off when they had to run off, they block when they had to block, and you know, they put us in a situation where we could get Malik the ball, and then if they start, you know, topping Malik or being playing over the top on Malik, then we'll be able to strike with those guys on the outside edges too. So those guys have made plays all year, and it's just been their time. You know, losing Murph was tremendous, but you know, we've been able to kind of, you know, withstand the early season letdowns as far as receivers are concerned by losing a top guy like that. So.